The following production is produced by the State University of New York College at Oneonta.
Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Red Dragon Sports. I'm your host, Geoff Hassard, Assistant Director of Athletics and Sports Information Director here at SUNY Oneonta. And we are getting into the latter half of our spring season, even though the weather hasn't shown much to be spring. And tonight we're going to talk with our men's tennis program as we've invited into studio head coach Bill May and a couple of senior captains for us. So if you join me after the break, I'll be joined in studio by tonight's first guest, Bill May.
WUOW 104.7 FM is the region's premier radio station, offering award-winning programming from National Public Radio and Pacifica Radio networks, giving you the chance to become more informed about the arts, information, and entertainment from around the country and around the world. WUOW is your community radio station. Join us and support the sound.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now in studio is head men's and women's tennis coach Bill May. Welcome back to the show, Bill.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
Well, it's very rare that we get to have a coach on twice during the academic year, but because you are the head coach of both men's and women's tennis, I usually like to start this segment by recapping the fall season because, of course, that's when we play most of our matches for the women's program with a lighter men's schedule, even though we do compete in some tournaments. So give us a rundown of how you think the fall season went for us.
Fall season went very well, both for the men and women's programs. The women's team finished third in the conference, which was a repeat from last year's results, and I was very pleased with that. The men's team won the Flower City Championship, which was the first time we've won that championship since 2002. So that was very exciting for us, and we actually went undefeated in dual match play in the fall season for men's tennis. Great fall.
Now the Flower City tournament, some good squads out there. Can you give us a rundown? Because it's mostly privates. I mean, we're the only public school that competes in that tournament, so I mean, we're competing against some good competition. What other teams are out there?
Very good teams. University of Rochester's in that tournament. St. Lawrence, Ithaca typically plays in that. Vassar, Skidmore, Roberts Wesleyan, RIT. The list goes on and on. It's an 8-team tournament, but the teams change from year to year. Yeah. And so excellent tournament, excellent competition.
Oh, that's good. And of course with the men's program, we were in a conference the previous 2 seasons. We tried to figure out what to call it sometimes. We were in the NEAC, but then we were really in the NAC. And,
right.
But we competed well there, and we won back-to-back championships, and certainly congratulations for that because we didn't have a chance to talk since last spring, but certainly it was another great spring for our men's program. Just a little bit more about the women's program in the fall, being in third. We had a pretty veteran lineup, and when we talked in the fall, you thought that we could compete with New Paltz and Geneseo, who came in first and second, but the gap was a little tighter this year. So you can talk a little bit about that and how you think we closed that gap a little bit on the women's side.
Each year we've closed the gap a little bit more and a little bit more, and initially the gap between us and really the top schools was substantial. This was my 7th year here, and when I arrived, I believe we finished the year before I arrived tied for next to last in the conference. I think that's correct. And gradually, slowly, progressively, we've improved and gotten a little better and a little better and a little better. And we've pulled even with Cortland, which is always an outstanding program.
Right.
And I think it's been for this particular fall, I think it was a combination of some very good young talent that we have, but also a very nice group of older leadership, junior and senior leadership that really helped us be very successful this year. We had 3 more people make the all-conference squad, and it's just been an exciting last 2 years especially. We've done very, very well.
For our women's program. Now, with our men's program, talk about how important it is to have, because we have, we're going to have 2 of the seniors on today who are been great leaders for us, but how important is it to have multiple leaders within both of our programs?
Well, I think multiple leaders give all the rest of the people on the team an opportunity to go to one or the other when they've got a concern, when they're excited about something, when they need some direction, say, such as which professor they should seek to sign up with, which course they should try to enroll in, or maybe even a discussion about majors. For the young people, being undecided, maybe they get to speak with one or another leader, and not necessarily within the same team. I can easily see one of our women's younger players talking to one of our men's captains because they're just so open and receptive to each other as tennis players, trying to provide guidance and leadership. So it's great to have multiple leaders, and especially the upperclassmen leaders that we have.
Right. Now, how important is it for the two teams, because we know they get along, but how important is that for building an entire program for men's and women's tennis? Because you really have to consider both, when you are trying to put together, the program, the schedule, and how we go about doing our academic work and all that. How important is it for the two teams to really be able to interact and like each other? I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So how important is that?
Really important, really important, because we practice, we try to overlap our practices a little bit in the fall and the spring, and we also try to avoid conflicts with scheduling. When the women are very active in the fall, the men are somewhat active. They're playing some dual matches, they're doing some tournaments, and it's a juggling match for me a little bit to try to get a full complement of women's matches in and practices, while also trying to do some of the men's practices and the competitions that they compete in. And then it flips in the spring. The men become very active and the women become less active but still involved. And so between fall and spring, it's just a juggling act, and for them to get along and support each other is just a big help to me as a coach.
Now, in the springtime, with some of our matches now, we've been able to travel and play both men's and women's matches. We do that with Oswego. We're going to do it with Wheaton in Massachusetts. We do it with Rensselaer. How important is that for the two teams to be together on the same day to compete?
I think that again is a real plus. We're the only SUNY school that has a men's and women's team besides Oswego. And so for us to have an opportunity for our men and women to compete together really allows me an opportunity to see all of our athletes at one time competing at the same time. Really very helpful.
Now the men and the women, they're together. I mean, they cheer each other on. Do they help each other on the court as well as off the court?
They help each other off the court, certainly, I think. On the court, I think they cheer each other on when one's playing and the other's off the court. But on the court, we keep them separated during their matches. We typically don't share courts. We typically don't practice on the same courts together. The women have their own practice. The men have their own practice. The women have their own matches. The men have their own matches. And the support comes really from almost any other spectator sport, watching and supporting and that kind of thing.
Now our men's team this spring was ranked in the top 20 in our region for the ITA. Been a couple years since we had cracked into the, we're in the top 20. Before we were number 24, we were 19 this past ranking. What do you think that's due to, and how exciting was that for our men's program?
Very, very exciting for our men's program, and I think what it's due to is that we've tried to improve the level of competition that we have. Our record in the spring shows that we're just 2-4, which would indicate not really a very good season, but I would debate that, I think, because the competition we're playing is outstanding. We played Middlebury, the #1 ranked team in the country. We've played Brandeis. We've played Rochester, all tremendous teams, and we've played most of those outstanding teams very, very closely, which the Raiders recognize, and that's why we've moved up into the ranking, is because win or lose, we're competing at a very high level.
Right, and I'm trying to make, because most of those coaches of the teams that we are playing, those are the guys that are, or gals that might be coaching those teams that are on the ratings committee.
Right.
And I think, hey, you go up and play Middlebury, you play them tough, and might raise some eyebrows like, who's this school? Because we know that when you look at the rankings, I think it's pretty much the top 10 are all private schools anyway, and there might be another public college out there that might be ranked. But again, in the state of New York, it's us and Oswego pretty much for men's tennis.
Yep.
So for us to be a public college and be ranked with the privates, what do you think that does within our recruiting and the value of our program and not in the college?
I think it does a lot for it. We can market that we're one of the best tennis programs around, public or private. And Oneonta State, or the SUNY system, has so many great things to offer, not just in terms of value, but an outstanding education, and then we also offer an outstanding tennis program. So I think we're the whole package.
Now, when you have on-campus visits, do you have recruits on campus, and do you involve your players in that process overnights, or maybe if they come for a day visit, show them around campus? How does that work?
Sometimes the recruits are coming just for the day, and we have someone from one of the teams come and meet with the players. Sometimes it's most of a particular team. In the fall, we had a particular recruit come, and I think of our 12-member women's tennis team, 11 came to meet with this student athlete. Wow. And show her around campus. Very, very exciting. And then we also host overnights, and so our captains and our leadership tend to be those people who I connect our overnight guest with.
Right. Now, is it important to have something going on campus when the recruits come so that they can see what else there is to offer at the college? Or, I mean, obviously, sometimes I think, if you bring a tennis player or somebody that plays like what we would consider a warmer weather sport,
yeah,
and you bring them here in the middle of winter, and they're thinking, wow, is this really where I want to go to school? The snow and all that. I mean, do you think that hinders it, or?
I don't know that it hinders it. I think having when we have activities on campus, I think our visiting recruits should absolutely be aware of those. It helps not only the students who are already here, but those prospective students who are looking, to show that there's a lot going on our campus. We offer a lot of different things. It's not coming here and having nothing to do. It's really a very, very active and vibrant campus. Yeah,
and of course our facilities have gotten better, and there are plans in the works, for down the line for doing more for not only our academic buildings but our athletic facilities. When you're recruiting, do you give recruits a sense of 5 years down the road, while they're a student athlete? I mean, they're going to be here for 4 years. Do you try and say, hey, in a couple of years we might have this, or, we're working on that, it's going to enhance the process or the educational opportunities?
That's a great question. We show what we have right now. We do have tremendous athletic facilities. I think compared to just about any school we have competed against, public or private, our outdoor tennis courts and the buildings that we have for athletics are tremendous. Where we need to grow at, and I think we will eventually, are in the area of really having an indoor option. And so recruits are often asking about such a thing, about an indoor option, because our current facilities are tremendous. I don't want to share with them whether it's 5 years or 10 years or 2 years, because we just don't know. But I share with them how excited we are about what we have and what the future could bring, and that tends to be all that we need for the recruits that we have. They like what we have, and when they go and they compare our facilities to the other schools that they're looking at, it's pretty rare that we fall to second place in terms of facilities.
Right, and that really has become an emphasis, for our college. Dr. Klanuski, who's currently our college president, and our previous president, Dr. Donovan, understood that, this is what's attracting these students to come and stay. I mean, our retention rate is higher, from freshman to sophomore year, having these activities on campus and the facilities that we do have. And you're able to do that also not only as a coach, but also as our academic coordinator within our department, and talk about the various programs that we have there. Could you just touch on a couple of the academic things that we do offer, that would help a student, not just a student athlete, but just a student in general who decides to come to Oneonta?
We have our Center for Academic Development and Enrichment, and that is an excellent program for us. It allows us to connect student athletes, students in general, but student athletes in particular, who are freshmen and sophomores into those 100 and 200 level courses, and that tends to address most of their needs initially, especially with some of the, I think, math and accounting courses and biology courses that are really tough. We have assistance for them. But we also have and are developing an athlete-to-athlete tutoring program that kind of is in its infancy. We're working on it, trying to figure out the best ways that we can have our best and brightest athletes help other athletes who might be struggling a little bit with some grades. But our athletes understand each other's schedules. They know the demands of being an athlete, the practice times, the schedules for matches, the overnight trips, those kinds of things. And so I think an athlete-to-athlete peer tutoring program, though it's just beginning really over the last year and a half, I think could be very successful for us.
Right. So it's really about the total package. That's what we sell, you know, academic, athletic, I mean Division III, that's what we're about. And we certainly know that the men's and women's tennis program adheres to that philosophy, and we've seen the success of both our programs. And we want to congratulate you on your ranking, and we got a few more matches left in this year, and hopefully we can get them in with the weather, but thanks for coming by tonight.
Thank you, my pleasure.
All right, well, I'd like to thank head coach, men's and women's tennis, Bill May, for coming by this evening. And after the break, I'll be joined by one of our seniors, John Doran.
What makes D3 special is the ability to participate in my team and within the broader community.
The perfect ending to a perfect season.
Being a D3 student athlete has completely expanded my life.
I learned how to lead. I really found a voice.
What time is it?
It's more about the experience rather than just a sport itself.
Without the experience of being a Division III student athlete, I wouldn't be the person who I am today.
NCAA Division III. Discover, develop, dedicate.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now is senior captain of the men's tennis team, John Doran. Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you, Geoff.
Why don't you let us tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is John Doran. I'm from Lynbrook, New York, down in Long Island. I'm a senior. I'm a food service and restaurant administration major here at the school, and looking to graduate in December, one extra semester.
Okay, now you've been a 4-year member of our men's tennis program.
Yep, 4 years.
We've had some pretty good success during those 4 years. Last 2 years when we were involved in the NEAC and the NAC conferences, you were a champion in both years, so congratulations.
Thank you.
What's that like? I mean, we're not a member of the conference anymore, but still, I mean, what was it like to compete in a conference and win those individual and team titles?
Well, it wasn't as much of a walkover as everybody would like to think. They're 1, 2, 3 guys. They're very tough, and you know we had very close matches with them. Even if the score didn't reflect it, you know, we still had very tough matches. I played third doubles my sophomore year. That was fairly easy at getting all conference first team, and then last year I was first doubles, and I was first team all conference again. So it was a lot of fun though, the conference tournaments.
Now, for yourself personally, because we had an opportunity to compete in a conference, what did that mean, to you, and what do you think it meant to our team?
It meant a lot. We not being in a conference as an independent, you get the wins under your belt, but you don't get the recognition as an all-conference team or winning a division and winning the conference. So it looks great for the school. It looks great for ourselves, and we, as a team, we cherish and we really thrive on that success.
Right. Now, being a leader for our men's tennis program, how do you look at yourself as a leader like that?
I enjoy it. I mean, I think myself, the 2 other seniors, John Taft and Will Sacco, we've all really, went together this year, and we've come together, and we brought everybody there's 8 guys on our team. We've brought everybody together, and we've had a great season so far. A lot of fun. Almost done. We only have about 4 more matches left, maybe 5, and getting ready for a trip down to Florida. And it's always fun to get out of this cold weather and get nice 80-degree weather.
Yeah. Now, those trips, you've been on one every year.
Yes.
One year, were you part of, we took both men and women together one year? Or?
That was the year before.
The year before you got here?
Yeah.
Okay, so for a week alone, pretty much you get to train and work out and compete?
Yeah, train, work out, hang out with the guys, go to the pool. We get to go to basketball games. We went to Orlando Magic game the last 2 years. We went to a theme park the last 3 years or last 2 years or so. And it's just a lot of fun. It's a good week to get down during spring break, hang out with your best friends, just have a good time.
Now, what do you think for you the Division III philosophy is, competing and, the academics, athletics? How do you think those experiences, I guess, culminate in an overall experience for you?
Tremendously. I think it's definitely helped me prep for my major down the road, food service. It's helped me build relations with players, and it's not just with the tennis team. There's also relations with other members of varsity sports here. There's you could see somebody in one of your classes and you realize, oh, he's on a lacrosse team or he's on the soccer team. And everybody's kind of friends with each other within the sports department. So it's a really great experience, and you meet a lot of new people. The professors are great. Everybody's understanding about if you're an athlete and you might have to miss a class for competition or a test. They're really understanding, the teachers.
So why did you choose Oneonta?
On my recruiting trip, I had a lot of fun. The guys, they're a great bunch of guys who brought me here. The facilities were great. Coach May is a really, really great guy. I could talk to him for hours about anything, really. I could just sit down in his office, and 4 hours later, I'm like, oh, well, it's 8 o'clock, I have to go. And he sold me on the school. I think the program is great. We're on the uprise, 19 in the Northeast right now, and we could be a lot better off. The talent on this team is tremendous, and throughout the years, it's just gotten better and better. And it's kind of sad to finally leave as a senior.
Right.
But, you only get 4 years eligibility, unfortunately.
Right. So you would really, your Division III experience here at Oneonta would probably be categorized as one that you would, look back 10 years from now, 20 years from now.
I wouldn't do anything different if I had the chance. Really love SUNY Oneonta.
Well, that's certainly, and we're glad that you've been a member of our men's tennis program, and we certainly have seen the progression of how our men's program has taken off, and certainly being ranked is a testament to the hard work. I know you guys are committed to it, so we want to wish you the best of luck over the last few matches, and certainly don't be a stranger when you graduate, even though it's December, but we certainly always love to see you guys come back. So thanks for coming by tonight.
Thank you.
All right, well, I'd like to thank my guest, John Doran from the men's tennis program, and coming up after the break will be another senior from our men's tennis program, John Taft.
Once you post your image online, you can't take it back. Anyone can see it. Family, friends, anyone. Remember, think before you post.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now is another one of our tremendous senior leaders on our men's tennis program, John Taft. Welcome to the show, John.
Thanks for having me.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name's John Taft. I'm from Glens Falls, New York. I'm a senior, and I'm a studio art major, and I'm going to be graduating this May.
Oh, this May. So it's almost here.
Yeah,
what do we got?
Too quick.
Somebody said there was like 18 days of classes left.
Yeah, I haven't started counting it. It's going too fast.
It is, isn't it? And of course you're in season, so it probably must go even faster,
Yeah,
right?
Sports definitely makes it go much faster than it normally would. I mean, everyone always says like it's the best 4 years of your life, and it certainly goes very fast. And for tennis, it's in the fall and the spring, so we don't get a break at all, except for like the middle of the winter months. So it definitely goes quick.
Now, what's that like to really? You have to kind of keep yourself going for for the whole year. Is it like you said, there's that midwinter break, but you really have to be ready to play all year round. I mean, so what's that like?
Yeah, you definitely do. I mean, we get the whole summer off and to really prepare for our fall season. And I feel like a lot of us play our best tennis in the fall season because of that. We have the whole summer to train, and over the winter months we do as best we can, like back home on our own, to get ready for the spring season. But it's still, not being able to play outside, not being able to play with your teammates and stuff. It's tough to get going for the spring. But we all do a good job getting ourselves motivated to go out and play. So it's good.
Now our spring season, we're ranked 19th. The past couple of years, we were in the NEAC and the NAC, and of course you were a champion as well, and contributed to our success in the past 2 years. So congratulations.
Thank you.
What does that mean to you to be a conference champion during your career?
Yeah, it's kind of like what John said too. It's, you know, our freshman year and now this year we're not in the conference, so it's kind of a cool feeling to be a champion in it, because like when we're not in the conference, we're winning matches, but we're not actually competing towards a goal as a team really, for like a conference championship. So it's definitely kind of a cool feeling to, you know, get the trophy and, you know, say I was the champion at this. And, you know, also our team won as well. It wasn't just the individuals, so it's kind of neat as a team to, you know, celebrate that we were the champions, and it's a cool feeling.
As one of our senior leaders, you're involved in the recruiting process. You know, we have prospective students come on campus. I mean, what kinds of things do you talk about when they come?
You know, we talk about like at least for last year and the year before, we would talk about the, you know, the conference that we're in, how you get a chance to be a conference champion, and you know, in our fall season, we play a lot of good tournaments, individual and team tournaments. The Flower City one, which we just won, and you know, in the spring we have a, you know, a solid schedule that we look forward to, and, you know, things like that. There's a lot of, you know, a lot of good.
Now, what was it like to go up to Middlebury and compete against Middlebury?
It's great. It's great. It's tough because it's you know, it's our first match of the year, so it's kind of tough to see where we're at, but it's definitely fun. You know, it's like kind of like the highlight of our season, because they're, you know, they just won the national championship last year, so it's a good test for us right off the bat. You know, it's fun.
Now, do you, you know, you say that when you train in the summer and you feel like you play your better tennis in the fall. Would you rather see us, you know, maybe play Middlebury in the fall? Do you think we could give them a better match?
I mean, you never know. I think it would definitely be worth a try. I mean, I know personally, like it's much easier to come off a whole summer of training and be ready when you don't have classes, you don't have anything else to worry about. You know, you're training real hard, and you know, to have to balance tennis with classes and, you know, everything else, it's tough to keep a high level up there. So especially, you know, we just came off, we were hitting indoors all winter, but it's still not the same. So, and then to play them our first match, it's tough. But
now, how do you, as a student athlete, you know, how do you balance your time and?
You kind of just have to have your priorities straight. You know, I mean, you're here as a student and an athlete, so you want to do your best at both of them. You don't want to put one ahead of the other, but, you know, at the same time, you want to, you know, you're here for academics. That's the bottom line, as, you know, D3. So, you know, you want to make sure you do your best in the classroom, but you also you don't want to slack off on the court either. You don't want to. I mean, you're here to play tennis as well, so you want to. You know, you want to do well at both.
You think the two together, I mean, why did you choose Oneonta?
I chose Oneonta for a few reasons. One, you know, it was a great value education, and, you know, for the tennis program as well. I set that, you know, in my mind that I wanted to play tennis when I was in high school, you know, play college tennis, so I came here for that. And just mainly the education. You know, I knew the art program was very good, and, you know, the tennis program obviously had a great reputation, and you know, I'm definitely glad I chose here.
Well, now the studio art program. So are you good with all those, you know, like Photoshop and all? I mean, I use those programs, but obviously I wouldn't ever be able to know everything about it. But, I mean, do you learn how to use those programs, and is it fun to be able to learn those
no, you definitely learn a lot of them. You know, it's kind of tough because you spend, at least for those, you spend a lot of time on the computer. So it's tough because you sit around a lot. But, you know, they're very complex programs that require a lot of time and years in the computer lab to be, you know, good at it.
Are you hoping to be a graphic designer? Or?
I'm really not sure yet, but I mean, anything that opens up for me, I'm willing to try. I mean, I definitely could. So.
This is certainly an area. I mean, I know graphic design, art, computer art, all that is a growing field, and you certainly could find yourself doing anything, publications or web design.
Computers are definitely the way to go nowadays with that. So, you know, hopefully I can keep my options open, and I'd like to, you know, pursue a career in tennis as well. So it'd be, you know, good to try to find a career with both. So.
Well, we certainly wish you good luck in that, and we wish you good luck the rest of your. He's 5 weeks left, right? And we certainly hope you finish the way you want.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming by tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank all of my guests tonight, John Taft and John Dorn from the men's tennis program, along with head coach Bill May. And we'd like to remind you that you can get all the latest updates of schedules and such on our website at www.oneontaathletics.com. And we'd like to thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Inside Red Dragon Sports.